There we go. We're getting all sorts of underwater and blurby sounding. Have you sent me daughters when I asked for sons? Well, I can't really say y'all are the saddest lot that I've ever seen, because you all certainly do have a clue. So let me make a character with you. Dun, dun, dun. Kind of brings things back around to the last segment when we're talking about you bust into a room, you sing a lyric, and you find out who your friends are because they complete it. Alright, so here we go. We have our random character generator. D&D Workshop, the musical! Hey! Now, this character, we're going to go down the steps and roll for it. There's a couple things we have predetermined. We already know. We're rolling a sorcerer, and in particular, we're rolling an Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. And that this sorcerer is going to be level 18, as that is the capstone ability for the subclass. Rolling percentile. 45. Oh! We were just, I mean, maybe Mulan. Mulan was a, right on the cusp there. So we do have a female character. And now for the race, I'm going to roll a 9-sided die, and we're going to use the player's handbook. I'm going to reset this. There we go. I'm going to use the player's handbook to determine which race we have. We rolled a 7. We have a halfling. And in particular, I'm going to roll odds or evens for a Lightfoot or a Stout. We rolled odds. So we have a Lightfoot, a female Lightfoot sorcerer. And now what is her, what's her disposition? Oh, hey, Misfit, thank you for gifting to Cold Spark. Cold Spark, welcome aboard. And enjoy the emotes. Let's roll percentile. 24. We have a chaotic good female Lightfoot halfling who's level 18. We already have that part. Now, are we replacing any of her stat bumps with feats? We're going to roll a percentile and find out. 56. Nope. It's all her. Now, to crack into the player's handbook again, there are 18, technically 13, but 18 different backgrounds that we are going to roll on an 18-sided die. Here we go. And they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, New Monica. I'll finish that lyric for you. Or at least the meme version of it. As you've seen in probably a lot of YouTube videos or other things. We rolled a 14. A sage. Ah, a sage. Now, sages have some different origins. Maybe a field of study. And in particular, there are 8 that are in the realm of the sage. Let's open up her character sheet and start filling some of this in. We have a female Lightfoot halfling. So they are small, S-M-O-L. She is a chaotic good, very free-spirited, as that is tended to be role-played as. Chaotic good. We know that she's going to be a sorcerer, in particular the Aberrant Mind. And she's going to be level 18. We are going to... Oh, actually, in particular for Sage, that is her background. And she is going to be the background of... We rolled a 2. Sage number 2. Now, while we're here, let's also fill in her personality traits on a 2d8. So we have 6 and 7. And then her ideal bond and flaw with a 3d6 roll. 5, 5, and 1. Now, I don't know what these placeholders mean just yet, and that's fine, because they're just doing that. They're being a placeholder. We're going to reveal everything soon enough. but we need this outline of the character. We need the silhouette standing against the mists of creation as she continually walks towards us, and we see more and more details, and we get to know her better as we observe her journey into creation. Class and subclass, so I'm sorry, everyone. I mean, I got that golden roll in on the on which type of halfling, so it kind of scratches an itch. We don't have any class features for being a sorcerer, and so what this is going to leave us as, we need to determine her age, as well as her height and her weight. So in our pull-down menu here, we are going to look for a Lightfoot. There's our gnomes. There's our Lightfoot Halfling. How old is she? I rolled a 12, so she is a young adult. Now, remember, this is young adult as a biological age, not what the halfling people may consider to be adulthood. For example, elves in the player's handbook are not considered adults by law or custom until they're 100. However, they are in adult bodies by the same amount of time it takes for a human to mature. Meanwhile, Dragonborn are the equivalent of a 10-year-old human child at the age of 2. Anyway, so she is, we're going to roll a 7-sided die, and then we're going to add 13 years to that age. And let's roll it. So she is a young adult at 20 years old. Young adult, 20. Now, the height of a Lightfoot Halfling begins at 2 feet 7 inches. I'm going to roll 2d4 and add that to her height. We're adding 6 inches. So she is 3 foot 1. 3 feet 1 inch. We're going to take this same 6, multiply it by 1, dun, 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 and add that to 35 pounds. So she is 41 pounds. Let's see. Custo says, I may have to schedule with you to create me a new character in your own random way. It can be my chance to step out of my barbarian half-orc. Yeah, of course. This method is awesome for busting out of those safety boxes. Like, it was developed to make sure we're removing personal biases as much as we can. You have to run for the night, says Baloo. What day is the raffle stream? I want to say Sunday, but my schedule's been all mixed up. It's Wednesday. Happy to be here. Wonderful Welsh accent. Nick Dirac, welcome, and thank you very much for re-upping. It's an amazing 6 months, and I hope you enjoy your spicy salsa con queso. You have upgraded to a nice orange sauce next to your name. Okay, so we have a young 20-year-old halfling standing at a mighty 3'1" and weighing in at 41 pounds. Now, when you do this, by the way, remember, like, this is her, we're talking about an aberrant mind, you know, her dry weight, and yet she's like a tentacle thing. You know, this is, she gets up in the morning, scratches her butt, and, you know, puts on her clothes for the day. Like, that's her. This doesn't take into account her gear, and it also doesn't take into account, it doesn't go against her carrying capacity either. However, the weight could be important because your DM might look for a pressure plate that needs 200 pounds in order to activate. Well, this gnome, or this halfling, would absolutely just dance a river dance on it, and it'd be fine. Pardon. So now that we have our outline of our character, I mean, maybe some of you out there are starting to visualize this halfling. Maybe, you know, because you might have personal preferences. Maybe you like redheads, and so you give her red curly hair. Maybe you like them strong, and you know, she's like, she has a fit appearance. It doesn't matter her strength score. You can still appear muscular, or you could even appear well marbled, of a cherub demeanor. And, you know, you still have a good strength or a constitution. So we're all imagining this character in our own ways, and let's further and further refine her. So if you have your player's handbooks, which of course you do because you're here on a workshop night, naturally all of you would have your player's handbooks handy at home, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. We're going to fast forward to Sage. Sorry, a little bit of flashing. And here we go. Having the body of a Greek goddess figurine. Yeah, so she'd be smaller. I have my player's handbook. Wait, this is for 2nd edition Vampire. Mea culpa. I suppose that works in its own weird way, New Monica. So you just sort of like have an interesting like parallel equivalency, and we'll see what happens. If you want to make a sort of a halfling style vampire or something. Now, as a sage, we're gonna get some goodies. In fact, I'm gonna scoot this over so that we can take a look-see. We have Arcana and History being areas of proficiency. We're gonna get 2 languages of our choice, and so halflings learn Common, Halfling, which, I don't know, for many people, I think they roleplay it as the equivalent of, you have English as Common, and Halfling is like Irish or Gaelic, or, well, even what we had up here, Welsh. So we have Common, Halfling, and then we're going to get 2 languages of our choice, so I'm just going to put in some filler question marks. Here, I'll show you real quick. Boop, boop, boop. So that way we know that we can fill them in at a later date. Right now, we don't really know, and we can come up with it as we discover more about her. Oh, yeah, knees and ankles, and, oh, it's yeah. And itty-bitty Nosferatu, the scary thing is giving a halfling obfuscate. That should rightly terrify anyone. Equipment. We're going to get some starting equipment. A bottle of black ink that, from given this subclass's background, we probably even make our own ink. Because we might have squid-like features, and so we probably, I don't know, like we have tendril hair and we kind of... like, you know, get the ink that way, or we kind of like dribble it out or something. For all we know, we make our own ink. A bottle of black ink, a quill, a small knife. Now, this is up to you and your DM. Does that count as a dagger, or is it just that? Is it a small little pocket kniff, a letter opener or something? It is what it is. We'll just put a special kniff. A letter from a dead colleague posing a question you have not yet been able to answer. That is very specific for all sages to have, and I feel bad for anyone in research, because you're losing friends everywhere. Pardon. So this is, we can call this a roleplay prompt question. We also have a set of common clothes. Also, if you want, in fact, maybe we'll do it because we did it with the last character. If not a letter prompting a question, if you want to make it a little bit more in the detective style or the Cthulhu storytelling, we receive a package from a colleague who has gone missing. And inside that package is a trinket. Trinket number something, and that is going to be our question, something that will take us down an interesting path of discovery, and which may very well have made us the aberrant mind that we are. Let's see, common clothes, a belt pouch, because of course you need a belt pouch with 10 gapuz. Hey TJ, good morning. Well, no, good evening. It's what, a little after 5 p.m. for you. Afternoon eat. Yeah, we're right on the cusp, aren't we? Cold Spark says, what do you think of the background having an effect on age group probability? I think the urchin would have a greater bias towards child prodigy and young adult and sage. It's possible. Although, the reason why I don't necessarily take that into account, Cold Spark, is we've had some amazing times trying to, thinking about if we rolled an urchin and we have, like a middle-aged wife of 45 years old, how does that work? And it came up with a very compelling and a very sad story, actually. Or, for a sage, nothing's to say that you don't have a Doogie Howser style, like a savant. You don't have someone that either grew up cloistered or sheltered or just has the touch, has the gift. And so I get what you're saying, though the reason why I don't bias the age is because I would love to have all of this, forcing the things to manifest as they do is going to help us be a lot more mentally agile in trying to connect the dots and still have it be a cohesive character. Oh yeah, updates on your character. I'd love to hear about them, TJ. All right, now our specialty. There were 8, and we rolled number 2. Number 2, we are an astronomer. I know it's stereotypical to harken back to Cthulhu, but when the stars are right, ancient things from beneath the sea, the moon and the tides, and when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's insanity. That's insanity. Nyctorak? It very much can. And if we don't want to necessarily go with, we can go with a very Lovecraftian theme. Yeah, there you go, Custos, you're completing the lyrics. But yeah, it's writing itself. So we have someone who has taken it upon herself to study the stars. And the stars might have been coming into alignment, or a great, we often think of, like great old ones are from the depths of the sea. And look, the sea is scary. Have you seen the stuff that lives down there? However, what are the constellations but manifestations of things that we worship or hold in reverence? She may very well have taken on, through the study of the star and the moon, whether or not it's actually tied to water. What if she is this aberrant mind because the stars have spoken to her? And she's actually taken on an appearance, maybe not like a fish or not like a squid, or maybe still. But what if her skin has darkened some and she has little twinkling like nodules under her skin to reflect stars? Her eyes, what if her eyes just seemingly are little swirling pinpricks of light? And when and the ink that she uses could be, could very well, we can still make it a squid. I mean, what is space? You have fluid space. We don't necessarily need to make it look like species. What is like 3472 or something from Star Trek Voyager. But maybe she saw something in a fluid space. This is still an excellent prompt. We may look low in the seas for things that are chthonic in nature. Though the stars, the high heavens themselves, hold many secrets that could lead to revelation, insanity, mutation, and the like. The other Palian fighter get arrested in MK Ultra. What is MK Ultra, TJ? Rogue rips off his old gang and walks away with something. Oh, wow. Talk about burning a bridge. Or whether or not it's a tied to water. Oh, can you expand on that, Cold Spark? 8472. Thank you, Cold Spark, for that. Oh, Old Port. Well, welcome back. I'm sorry to hear that your internet went out. In the very end of the session, we organized the boat and agree to leave. I have a quick chat to the DM, explain that Volan will not be getting on the boat. as she is unwilling to return home without her dad's head. DM and I chat for a while. We have a quick dream sequence where Anvel basically says Dad is at home. Go get him, Tiger. MK Ultra was a CIA crane washing program. Brainwashing. Oh, gotcha. So they're taking the Lake Lao guy. Oops, I went too far, everyone. Now, her background feature is that of a researcher. When you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. Usually this information comes from a library, scriptorium, etc., etc., and so you know, even if you don't have the info, you can find the info. And if you can't find it, you at least know where to look so that hopefully someone else can find it for you. Oh, tied to water. I can only do that so much. No, you're fine, Cold Spark. Don't worry about it. Now, what is her personality? What's going on in our little halfling's noggin here? Personality trait number 6. I speak slowly when talking to idiots, which almost everyone is compared to me. And number 7, I am horribly awkward in social situations. Don't you hate it when you're under social pressure and your body leaks ink, or you sweat glistening glistening galaxies out of your skin? Don't you hate it when that happens as an aberrant mind sorcerer? I'm so awkward. I wish I could stop walking into the bar on chilly night. Oh, reminds me of a scene from Blazing Saddles. TJ Fate says the next session rolls around. We board the boat. Between sessions, DM and I have a proper dream sequence. Flesh out a few more details as we board the boat. The captain and a crew of elves suddenly have an issue with me. The party and I just throw 3,000 at them, which was 6 times what we're already paying. Money is an excellent superpower, and that's why a lot of superheroes have it. Now, what is her ideal? What does she want from life? How does she view the world? What would she like it to be? Number 5, power. Knowledge is the path to power and domination. Teehee, I'm chaotic good, which is fine. We can have an evil ideal as a chaotic good character. She expresses herself in a spontaneous fashion, and she is, rather selfless with what she's doing. However, deep inside, her ideal is as such that the more knowledge you have, the more power you have. And you know what? Who would know that better than someone who's continuously learning, and it's affecting her body and giving her power, is strengthening her. There is no doubt in her mind. Now, does this mean that it has to be evil? She could use this power for good. Don't go by what is in the parentheses when it comes to the ideals. Those are general guidelines. But she is consuming knowledge, perhaps because she has a little extraplanar infestation going on that's encouraging it. Volan is greener than normal as the half-orc. Custos, you're trying to get into the mind of someone who's 3-1, and that was my first thought. Nope. Look, you got to watch out for stuff like that, right? 3 days into the journey, we have a random encounter with a storm giant. The DM is gearing up for a tough fight after our boat crashed into its head. Oof. Wizard and I step up and the party faces to talk him down, heal the wounds, and secure passage through the straits. All right, what is her bond to the world? What's keeping her here? What's someone or something or someplace that she really enjoys? We had number 5. Or wait, did we? Yeah, we had number 5. I've been searching my whole life, in all our 20 years, for the answer to a certain question. Which, you know what? This only doubly confirms that whole it writes itself. This only doubly confirms that we can replace that letter with a trinket from a lost, someone who's gone before. And this is what's keeping us tied. Maybe keeping us from pursuing, rampant evil power. And at the same time as accelerated our learning and our garnering of power as a sorcerer by being a mere 20 years old. And lastly, our flaw. Our flaw is number 1. I am easily distracted by, squirrel, the promise of shiny information. It may to keep your lunch down, Lupus. Let's see. TJ continues. There may or may not have been an excessive amount of flattery. The wizard was buttering this guy up more than movie popcorn. Volan basically just repeats, "You are massive. You are awesome." But you had to what? You had to fight the storm giant, and then once you bloodied him up a little bit, you got to negotiate, or you could negotiate from the get-go. I don't know if I missed something with that, TJ. So she has little patience for other people, as she does seem to see them as not as intelligent or as focused as her. And this is making her extremely awkward and social. We have an inkling. We have a aberrant mind halfling. We have an inkling from Splatoon. She seeks power. I've been searching my whole life for the answer to a certain question, and you know what? We're gonna pop over to chapter 5 and find out what the heck this trinket is, because this is a part of her personality and set her on this path that led her to study the stars, and from them glean the secrets of the universe that are opening her mind and even causing a bit of a physical metamorphosis happening in her body. She's Hermione Granger. If Hermione Granger was some kind of a quasi-celestial / great old one, which, I don't know, she might be. But yeah, some kind of a young prodigy is, I think, what you're getting at, Custos. Yeah, she's only 20, and look, if we have a 20-year-old 18th level sorcerer, something's going on that her body is being a receptacle for knowledge and power. It's like pulling into her. It is... this is also why I don't mind having, age restrictions, because it really gets us to think creatively. Meanwhile, if she was, 150, this could have been a lifetime of study and the slow, the watching of the celestial bodies and things coming to alignment. But with her, this has probably all been happening for the last, 10 years or so? Oh, you talked to him from the get-go. Basically got a hold of the flight while still dazed and just went for flattery victory. Wizard was given a shell with some mild magical properties and was told to present it to whoever recognizes it for what it is. Hey, Whoa, Civil Hermit! It's been a minute. Welcome. Great to see you, Civil Hermit. Suggestion: this halfling happened upon a tome of forbidden knowledge and quickly became addicted to the... Yes. In fact... let's find out if perhaps that tome isn't the trinket that the lost colleague or some other equivalent might have sent her, causing her to pursue over something or another. Could even be an old teacher said, "Oh yeah, go fetch this book," and she went to the library, and sure enough, fallen behind the shelves in the normie section was actually a book that was supposed to be in the chained up area. Anyway, let's roll a percentile set. 94. Ah, a mosaic tile with a multicolored glazed surface. A mosaic tile with a multicolored... Yep, Nictorek. TJ, oh, you have to get going? All right. Well, I was following along. Hopefully you didn't think that I wasn't. But TJ, thanks for popping in, giving us a character update. It's always nice to see you around. She looked at it. She looked for it in the sky, and when she found it, she changed. That could have been the key. Like, she held the tile up to the stars one night, and maybe she found that it filled, like, it took an area of space where oddly there's no constellations, because maybe she was always fascinated with the stars ever since she was little. And when she got this interesting mosaic that was a missing puzzle piece, and this tiny mosaic piece changed the entire night sky by revealing a constellation of such depth and or enormity and or whatever that put the stars in her eyes, maybe even literally. And from that point forward, she was never the same little halfling girl. And she committed herself to study, eventually becoming a sage, and being so consumed that this astral ink, if we want to stick with that, I mean, I'm just using the squidlings or whatever, or there's an anime called Squid Girl, you know, for fun reference anyway. But yeah, this little glazed piece of earth could have been the missing puzzle piece to generations of astronomical study. Astrological. Well, astronomy and astrology are two different things. And that secret, that one thing, that one missing piece, put everything together for her and changed her life forever. Amazing what one little trinket can do. And at the same time, you know what? It was also this other trinket, this griffin grease, which may very well have helped set this person on his path. And you know what? These two are going to meet when we form our party, and this could form a really cool story. Hashtag just saying. All right, so we have our background. We have her personality. Someone who's cloistered, impatient for anything other than what she's looking at, and is obsessed with the stars. And that star obsession is manifesting interesting things within her. Now we're going to go to We're going to go to the halfling section. All halflings have our dexterity increased by 2. We already have age, alignment, and size. Our base walking speed is 25 feet, giving us 12, 12, and 0 for climb, swim, fly. Until later when we can actually just do it. Anyway, we are also lucky. Yay. I'm not going to get into the minutia of everything. It's the player's handbook content material. It's there. Enjoy it. We are lucky. We are also brave. We have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. So actually, I'm just going to put that here. Versus frightened. So I don't have to worry about a line down here. We also have halfling nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature that is a size larger than yours. Languages and subrace. Well, we have the languages. Our subrace, we are going to get, for being a Lightfoot Halfling, our charisma increases by 1. And we are also naturally stealthy. You have advantage on saving throws. Oh, I'm sorry. That's stout. You can attempt to hide even when you're obscured only by a creature that is at least 1 size larger than you. So there you go. There you go. And of course, what could be larger than, you know, walking in the wake of a great old one? I know it's not a great old one warlock. It can be, though, because why not? Just because you have a great old one warlock doesn't mean you also can't worship that as a trickster god, as a, you know, whatever. You know, great old one is going to have many tendrils and many pies around the realm. Oh, snap! Hey! Thanks for visiting. Chud Raid! Yeah, welcome. Here. Thank you very much. And I'm only Ed. Thank you for the follow. Oh, no! Oh! Chud Killer! Yeah. Oh, the chatbot got a little upset. You're stunned for 1 round. Oh, gosh. Yes, your magic symbols triggered a trap. You were stunned for 1 round. We're building a character here. What were you doing on your channel before coming over to see us? So we have finished now our background and our racial abilities. Now we're going to go and give her Sorcerer features, but we're saving the subclass for the Unearthed Arcana. So this is something that all Sorcerers are going to be receiving when they reach 18th level. Our proficiency bonus is 6. We are going to be getting 18 sorcery points, conveniently enough, because we're level 18. We are also going to be getting 18 D6 hit die. And remember, your hit die is your natural pool of recovery, physical, mental, emotional, that you can invoke when you rest. That you don't have to spend potions or spells and whatnot. Oh, some Rainbow Six Siege. Well, welcome. Thanks for popping over to our D&D stream from that. Yeah, that'd be fine, Syart. We get no armor proficiencies, and we do get weapon proficiencies. I'm going to summarize the specific list as sorcerer weapons, because it's a little bit of this and that from some places and things. Constitution and Charisma are going to be our saving throw proficiencies. And we're going to get to choose 2 skill proficiencies from Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion. If she's... so from what we're going here, I mean, we already have Arcana and History. I think, especially if we talk about things like celestial bodies, Religion would also be key for her studies. Power, knowledge is the path... Oh, I misspelled that. To Poir. And domination. I've been searching my whole life for the answer to a question. I'm easily distracted by the promise of information. So yeah, I definitely think religion. I could even argue to a dungeon master, would you let me take nature, because she is a very... either nature or investigation, because of just how inquisitive and focused to her studies that she is. Though, let's play it with what we have. We get, so we already have Arcana, so Deception, Insight, Intimidation, or Persuasion. She's not very social. You know, despite Charisma being, is going to be a larger score for her, she's not social. Now, she does, maybe as an expression of that, I speak slowly when talking to idiots, which almost everyone is compared to me. I could probably say that would be intimidation. She's not trying to persuade people into things. She wants them to go away. You don't understand me and my studies. Now go. She's a fierce little firecracker, this halfling. I'm not going to worry about the starting equipment. She's 18th level. She probably has more in her starting light crossbow. And if not, I'm not worried about that because we're focusing on the content of the playtest Unearthed Arcana material. Let's see. We are going to know 6 cantrips. 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 1. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 3. Why did I count like that? Why not? Have fun. Challenge yourself. Think differently. Especially if you want to be in the mood. Our spell slots: 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. Ta-da! And we can also carry... Oh, by the way, we have 0 dark vision. Halflings do not have dark vision. Let's come down here. Spellcasting ability for a sorcerer is Chaw. And we also have sorcery points. We have 18 of the little buggers. And we are a Sorcerer who knows 6 cantrips. And we'll fill this in for 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. And while I'm on this page, I'm gonna look a little bit ahead. Shh, shh, shh. We're gonna call these psionics, just like we did with TUE-SAT, who is our elven character here. All right, psionics. Starryeyes. There we go. Cool. All right, let's get back to the Sorcerer. Our spell's known. We're going to fill that in at the end, too. But really, this is going to be fairly straightforward. We get Font of Magic, which is going to give us sorcery points and the ability to manipulate our spell slots. And we are also going to get Meta Magic, which by the time that we're level 18, we know 4... Well, they're not Meta Magic feats any longer, but we know 4 Meta Magic abilities to modify our spells. And as the Sorcerer capstone at level 20 is, it's at level 20 and we're 18, let's choose our meta magic based on her personality and the what we've discovered about her. And then we're going to jump into the Aberrant Mind portion. Let's see. So she is someone who is about power. So I think an empowered spell, right? She has to learn more. She's searching. She's trying to get answers. If we're having this, what is life? What is life in fantasy or whatever? I think she would go for a twinned spell. And an empowered spell. Also, because she takes marathon study sessions and might want to, buff up for that, I see her as having an extended spell as well. And because everything has to be done now, she may also take the quickened spell. She speaks slowly to idiots because she herself, remember, she's chaotic good, she's spontaneous. Her intelligence is having so many possibilities just pouring through her mind at any given point in time. She's horrible in social situations, so I gotta get out of there now. I don't have time for this. Gotta get it done. Gotta go fast. Now, if you have other suggestions for which metamagic she'd take, please suggest it. So here we go. She is a sage. That's a Lightfoot Halfling. That's a sorcerer. Now, in particular, she is an Aberrant Mind. And so some unique effects are going to accompany her using her abilities or spells, which we kind of equated are kind of like the Shadow Sorcerer quirks. I'd actually love to see something like this for it. Not that I don't encourage, completely free to think about abilities that make you a little strange. But I don't know. This is a fun presentation that can do the same thing, but help people who are searching for ideas. Maybe give them a prompt from which they can work. So you barely bleed even when badly injured. You have trouble remembering that living creatures and corpses should be treated differently. So the shadow magic sorcerer is kind of it's kind of like this, except it's more on the morbid side, kind of the shadow dark instead of the far realm. Which, of course, the far realm, the depths of space, isn't just the depths of the sea. Don't forget that. We do have a seafaring one, and now we have a Sea of Stars faring sorcerer. So we get invasive thoughts. I'm going to move this over while I'm typing so you all can read what these abilities are as I type and talk about them here. Invasive thoughts. It's effectively telepathy as a bonus action, which could work on animals. Animals can't talk back. Gotta catch them all, says Custos. We also are going to get our psionic spells, but you know what? We've already put those down below, so you know what? We don't have to worry about it. Now, also at level 1, because remember, sorcerers manifest their archetype or their subclass at level 1. They and clerics do that. So we are a warped being. Starting at first level, your aberrant origin protects you from harm. Your body might have a coating of viscous slime, tough hide, scales, or an invisible psionic barrier. So it could be that invisible psionic barrier, and so when we're hit, you know, sort of like a constellation or rippling cosmic energy flows around us. And Warp Being gives us, it's like the Dragon Blood Sorcerer. We get 13 plus Dex as a natural AC. At level 6... we have Psionic Sorcery, where we can just spend our sorcerer points instead of spell slots on those specific spells. Gives us a lot more flexibility, huh? At level 14, we have what's called Revelation in Flesh. Beginning at 14th level, you can unleash the aberrant truth hidden within your flesh. As a bonus action, you can spend 1 or more sorcery points to magically transform your body for 1 minute. For each sorcery point you spend, you can gain one of the following benefits of your choice, the effect of which lasts until the transformation ends. You gain a swimming speed equal to your walking speed and the ability to breathe water, and that gives you a roleplay prompt. You gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. As you fly, your skin glistens with mucus or some other fun effect. Your body, along with any equipment you're wearing or carrying, becomes slimy and pliable. You can move through, you turn into Alex Mack. You can act as an ooze, right? You can squeeze in an inch, so forth. Your eyes turn black or become writhing sensory tendrils. You are aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 60 feet of you. So we modify our body like we modify our spells through metamagic. And we get interesting observation and mobility. Mobility. And lastly, our capstone effect is called Warp Reality. At 18th level, you become the focal point of a reality warping anomaly. As an action, you can magically radiate a transparent 20-foot radius aura for 1 minute. This might take the form of a sphere of rippling psychic energy, a fluctuating amoebic gel, or an extrusion of ephemeral parasites, or some other manifestation. Other creatures treat that aura as difficult terrain, and when they start their turn in it, they take 2d10 psychic damage. When you activate this feature, you can choose any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected by the aura. As a bonus action, you can end the aura early. If you do so, you and any number of creatures you choose within the aura are teleported to a location you can see within 1 mile of you. Each creature must appear within 20 feet of you in an unoccupied space. An unwilling creature that succeeds on a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC is not teleported. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So whereas Turali here probably has this kind of like mysterious, like gelatinous swirl, like a tidal pool for his warp reality, our halfling probably has like a galaxy of spinning stars around her. There's an ability, I forget the name of it, in Final Fantasy XIV that the astrologians use, that it kind of creates a hemisphere around you. And it's very beautiful, nice effects on it, and that's kind of what I'm envisioning for this. And then, of course, you're sort of like teleported through space from one point to another within a mile of you. So now that we have our character, right? So we have a motivation. We understand what set her on the path, the decisions that she makes. You have this young person who has the stars in her eyes and can't get them out, but she doesn't seem to mind it, even though it might be affecting the people around her. And we now have these two characters who, of course, are going to bump into each other later on this week when we're making our party. Now we have the chassis of the character. It's time to drop the engine into her. And so we have the standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. I am definitely fine with making strength or even wisdom. I dare say wisdom is probably her, she's an astronomer. It doesn't mean she can't look at the stars. You know, having a poor wisdom doesn't mean you suddenly are deaf or you know, blind to the world. But because of how reclusive she is, you know, that she's not really picking up on the feelings of other people, or that she even really cares, I would dare say that the 8 would go in her wisdom. As at least with a 10 strength, she can haul more books around. And if any of you say otherwise, hey, throw an idea out there. This isn't my character, this is our character. So let's put an 8 in her wisdom. I think we can put a 10 in her strength. Charisma, I think, is going to get the 15 because she's pouring into it. In intelligence, for sure. Charisma and intelligence are going to be her 2 highest. Then we're going to give her a 12 con and a 10 dexterity. You know, she doesn't exactly get out and do a bunch of yoga stretches, but she's not the worst at it either. So now we add in our racial modifiers, which is going to bring charisma to 16 and dexterity to 12. And we get stat bumps at 4, 8, 12, and 16. We're 1 level shy of getting our next one, but you know what? If you like this character, level her up and put it wherever you want. Her stat score. I'm kind of getting... So we get 8 points. Let's put 2 in intelligence. I think we're going to max out her charisma for sure. And we get 2 more points that I could make a strong argument for intelligence if she's decided to strike out and as sailors navigate by the stars. I think wisdom is fine to keep her at an 8 there. Then I think that could use to increase her constitution. Because she's been out traveling, either that or dexterity. I'd be open to either of those. Sad thing is, you probably wouldn't have had to specify about the stat score if you didn't know your viewers so well. Well, what do you mean in that regard then, Custos? As in, like, the automatic thing is, no, everyone needs wisdom because everyone uses perception and insight all the time with, you know, half the rolls in every single game played is that. I kind of like it. I kind of like her being this feisty, this tough, you know, not the strongest, that's fine. You know what? Sure, she'll take hits. So what? She's a sage. She also has powers that she could just invoke. I think making her a little tougher, especially going out into the world, maybe the stars have toughened her up some as well. And I'm comfortable putting that into Constitution. So after the stat bumps, she has a 0 strength modifier, 1 dex, 2 con, 3 int, -1 wisdom, and a 5 charisma. She has a force of personality even though she keeps it to herself. Unless she's casting a spell on you. 1's down the line. Whoop, that's a 2. I am SMRT. It's also almost 4 a.m. 8 on the Constitution saving throw. Intelligence is 3 down the line, with the exception of our smarty pants areas of Arcana, History, and Religion. Wisdom, I'm just going to casually put a -1 everywhere. You know, -1 Wisdom saving throw, but that saves against most forms of magic, of course. She looked at the stars and got possessed by an astral being. Of course she's going to be susceptible to magic. Come on. Not the level her up and... Oh, no, that... Yes, diadems, we're definitely past the 20 mark. I will be refilling it, and there's still at least 1 set of dice, 2 prize goblins, and a lot of other goodies down in there. So diadems, your shipping was actually covered by Shukon. So if you wanted to grab some gotchas while the chances are getting better with a lower and lower pool tonight, before I stock it up to 50, this is your chance to do so. Yes, there's at least one dice set still in there. But I mean, Custos, a little wink and a nudge. I understand. I'm on board. Now that we have these numbers, we can fill. Oh, I'm sorry, charisma. Real quick. 11 on intimidation and saving throws, and 5 in these others. All right, now her armor class is going to be well, with that kind of natural like schmutz on her skin, it's going to be 14. 13 plus her dex mod. Her passive perception is going to be 9, as opposed to Tarali's 22. This is a good yin-yang pair for each other, I think. Her initiative is going to be a +1, as that's simply a dex check. And her hit points, at level 1, she gets all 6 of her d6 hit die. And for the 17 other levels of her 18, she gets half +1 of her hit die, which is 4. Right? 6 is half to 3, +1 is 4. Then all 18, she gets a Constitution bonus. Bonus hit points equal to her Constitution modifier of 2. And so here we have 36. And then we have 68. And then we come over here, and this is going to be 74. And wouldn't you know it, we add this together, and much like Tarali, we have another 110 hit point character. Yes, Diadem's Custos ended up getting a nice dice bag, as a red dice bag with some gold embroidery, and a nice set of speckled dice. Now let's see, her special kniff, knives can be wielded as finesse weapons, which means we can use dex instead of strength, even though it is a melee weapon. And so we're going to get a +7 to poke someone with our letter opener. That's 1d4 plus 1 piercing damage. Dun, da, da, da. And of course, if you give her other weapons, you calculate that in based on the stat for the weapon, you know, strength or dex. And for her casting, however, if she's attacking with her spells, it's a +11. She's definitely more magical. A +11 to attack and a 19 to resist her effects. I wouldn't say she's a glass cannon per se, but she's, you know, she's susceptible, but she can dish it out too. So then we're going to bring these numbers down here with a 19 to save and a +11 to hit. And then for her spells, at level 1, she learns 2 spells. At level 2, she learns another. And then as we go down the line, and we'll head back here real quick so you can see what I'm doing. You see this column that says spells known. So at level 1, she knows 2, and they can't be higher than first level. At level 2, she knows 3, so we get to add 1 more spell, but they can't be higher than second. And you see how that boosts out, boosts out? Now, when you're taking your spells, if you're to do it normally, as the book might suggest you do, it's going to look a lot like this. Because in these last levels, watch. You see here? You go from 11 to 12, but then when you go to 12th level, you still know 12 spells. So you don't get your next spell until 13, 15, 17, and then you don't learn any more spells. And so that's how this could spread out. However, I don't know, let's say, especially because of the psionics, or you just say there's no good level 5 spells. They're all literally garbage. So put the spell that you get, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put the spell that you get at level 9, put that in a level 2 spell. So take this level 9 and drop it over here. And then, of course, as a sorcerer, while you have a fixed spell sheet like bards, When you level up, you can replace a spell. You can move a spell, you can replace a spell. So that you actually do get functionality and you're not super locked into something that, you know, you're having no fun with, the opportunity's never there, or things change, things happen. $11, $13, $15, and $17. I'm really debating on pulling Shukon and just gobbling up the rest of the gotchas. I mean, if you want, especially with the count of the capsules that are in here, I believe that would automatically refill the goblins into the next refill anyway, Custos Lupus. And if you did that, that would be, let's see, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I do have 23 capsules remaining. Yes, 23 is correct. And so without choosing the spells, which of course her spells are a part of her journey, right? They're the things that she's learned, the things that she's taken to adapt to the world around her. I don't want to add those spells in this segment, and we can go back and do so. But I will add her psionics real quick, because this is unique to her subclass. And so we are going to be receiving, here we go, Arms of Hadar and Dissonant Whispers instead of Careless Whispers, but I think you need a saxophone to cast that spell. Calm Emotions and Detect Thoughts. The Hunger of Hadar and Sending. Compulsion and Everard's Black Tentacles. And then her 5th level ones are Modify Memory and Rary's Telepathic Bond, aka the Psychic Friends Network. Ta-da! All she needs... Hey! She needs a name. Do any of you have a name for her out there? Did anything come to mind? You know, so here, again, so we have this young adult. We have this 20-year-old female Lightfoot Halfling. She is an astronomer sage that has perhaps seen a little too much of the stars or made a connection in the grand scheme of things in the cosmos. She can research information. She has a short temper with other people. And, I mean, that's coming from a halfling, right? What name would you think that... Could it be a humble name? Like, a humble halfling. She came from a small village. Again, maybe it was located on Star Hill, because it was a hill with a nice view of the sky. And so she is... and she's one of the sky gazers or something like that. And it's a simple family name. She could have taken on a perhaps another name, or she found her name in the stars, and she like, that is her true name, is like Yarsha or something like that, because that is her astral identity, from this arcane infinite knowledge that she's gleaned from the night sky. Gotta catch them all. Very well then. So I will leave this character up, but her building Her initial building, a little detail work is fine, poking at her past and whatnot, but she is finished. And so, we shall be busting open capsules. Custos, though, if you can give me like 5 minutes to get up and stretch my back and to refill my drink, as I am out of the bubbly, I will come back and pop these capsules for you. But I got to attend my mortal needs.